Hello everyone, I'm Josh Davids, SciTech, and today we're going to go through the DataXchange, data collection and process control system. The majority of the presentation will be through a PowerPoint we'll look at. We'll also look at the live application as well for some of the charts, reports, the real-time viewing. And as Sam mentioned, again, please type in any questions at any point or raise your hand, and then we'll get to answering them at the end of the presentation. All right, the main topics that we're going to discuss today, again, we'll just go over a brief overview of what is DataXchange. Again, obviously the benefits and the value that you get out of it. Then again, we'll go directly to the charting and reporting, look at historical and real-time dashboard and discuss some of that functionality. Get into the types of data that can be collected and again, how that works across our licensing levels of the bronze, silver, and gold. Touch on the power of DataXchange. Again, it doesn't matter how pretty the reports and charts are. If it's not your definition of what your machines are doing, then it's obviously not much value to you. So being able to fine-tune your definitions of things and I guess control the data that's being collected based on your rules is some of the power that we'll look at as part of DataXchange, which is obviously a key to the success. So the other topics that we're going to look at, again, we'll actually get into the details of the licensing levels and the pricing for each of those licensing levels. Again, the low monthly fee, no commitment model that we have, or an on-premise model. Obviously, we offer both of those there. Again, on how it's based on equipment, and there's unlimited reporting and charting. So we'll get into how that works with the licensing and pricing. The data collection methods, we fully support MT Connect, members of the MT Connect Technical Advisory Board, FANUC Focus, hardware methods, tablets. Again, we'll touch on those different methods and the difference between them and commonality between them as well. Again, the scalability. The system is fully designed to get up and running with a few machines. Make sure this is a good fit for you. And then again, it can scale to ramp up within a facility, across facilities, across time zones. So very, very scalable, flexible application to where it can grow with you or you can grow into it either way. All right, the cloud machine monitoring. And again, the hosted and on-premise versions, majority of this is going to be discussing the cloud-hosted version because that's by far the most common that we have. And definitely the way people start, even when looking on-premise. You can start cloud-based, and then you have the ability to move it over to on-premise later if that's something that you're looking to do. All data is fully 100% encrypted. All updates are fully automatic, so obviously reducing the total cost of ownership and simplifying implementation and updates moving forward. If any hardware is needed, so again a non-Ethernet based machine, then at that point we've got standardized hardware to where every piece of hardware is identical across every machine. So again, making it very, very easy to maintain and implement. The ability to collect from, again, a variety of different things, CNCs, obviously the most common, but also PLCs, CMMs, then robots, welders, complete manual machine, fabrication machine, you name it. If it's got a voltage or current, it can be collected from with present sensors. So a variety of different types of machines. And again, the CNCs, obviously the common and new ones, fully Ethernet able to be able to get a very wealthy, rich variety of types of data from the machines, such as overrides, and information, a lot of feeds and speeds, information like that can be pulled from the machines. Being cloud-based, you have access to the data from anywhere, so we do offer mobile applications to be able to view the real-time status and historical status. We also offer notifications, such as email and text notifications based on certain events that are user configurable. Again, the on-premise version is 100% the same technology. It's just on a private cloud. So you could host that and then expose it to the internet if you wanted to as well. So that's just entirely on how you deploy it internally based on your networking requirements. Right, the charting and reporting. Again, it's unlimited charting and reporting. That is not controlled at all through licensing. So it's very open and very flexible. There's a real-time dashboard, which is very configurable, and we'll look at that in the actual application in here in just a minute. There's user and company-based screens when it comes to both the real-time viewer and the charting, which means you can create an unlimited amount of screens. These can be all your personal-based screens, configure them however you like. As an administrator of the system, you can also create screens or views and push them out to groups of users to where they don't need to define or create anything. They just can have a button to push and boom, the chart pops up the way you configured it for them. So very, very easy to roll out to groups of users without providing a lot of training at all. They just have the data. Again, a lot of the historical stuff, we've got trend reporting, any of the cycle statuses from unknown downtimes, planned downtimes, any of those can all be charted over time. All data is kept forever, and therefore, again, you can go back as long as you need to go back. Again, the desktop and mobile charting as well. So provide a decent amount of information there on the mobile devices for Android and for Apple phone and tablets. So look at a couple static screenshots, then look at the real application. This is one of a summary view, basically comparing multiple types of cycle time. And that's a real key to the application here. You ask two people what the definition of cycle time is, and you're going to get three answers, right? There is no right or wrong. Automatic tool changes, when you have that small stoppage of time because of tool changes, is that considered part of your cycle time? And again, that's not a right or wrong. Your machine is running, but so you may want to track that amount of time. You also may want to track it without that time to be able to see how much time is being lost that way to decide if you need to optimize it. So DataXchange is very unique in the sense that you've got the ability to track multiple definitions of cycle time at the same time concurrently on the same machine. Then you can compare and contrast those, or you can exclude one of them when running a chart and see exactly what is my utilization if I use cycle time definition A versus cycle time B. So it's a very powerful way to analyze the data and see what's really going on with your machines. This screenshot here is a sample of that, just showing when your machine is running and then when it's actually running with spindle motion. And you can see the difference there, the amount of time. So again, you can turn on or off any of those definitions of cycle time through the charting while you're collecting both definitions at all times. Here's a screenshot of a timeline in the upper left and the bottom right, or upper left and bottom right. Yeah, the timeline itself shows activity over a period of time. The top is currently right now when you're running it, and the bottom being your start time you selected. And then again, you can see when it was running, not running, planned or unplanned downtimes. Over on the right side, again, you see the same thing except more detail. It's broken down to see the specific downtime codes, cycle codes on what happened versus more of the general statuses which you see on the left. So again, you can zoom in on the time frame and really dive down into it. You can zoom out on the time frame and see a larger subset of time to get a better view of what happened over a period of a few days. Then a sample of a trend on the bottom left. I'm going to bring over the real-time viewer, take a screenshot of that. Here's a sample of it with 4 views on it. It's very configurable. You can have as many views as you want on a window. This one here over in the top right is again a summary view, just showing the percentage of each of our main general categories of whether it's in cycle, planned or unplanned or unknown. Over on the top left is what we call a current status. So again, each column is a machine and the bars grow with time. Whenever the status changes, it drops to 0. So if you look over and you see a big red bar, you know that you have an issue very, very quickly. In the bottom left is a grid view. Again, similar information, just laid out in more of a grid format. You can see the actual downtimes or cycle statuses that the machines are currently in and the duration that they've been in there. The grid is very configurable to where you can hide or show a lot of columns, filter out a lot of data. So you could have a grid view and configure it to only show unplanned downtimes that are related to maintenance, and then put that view in the maintenance department. Likewise, you can do something similar for quality. So it's a very, very flexible, the real-time viewer, to be able to show a variety of different information for different needs. So we'll take a look at the actual application here. We'll bring it over onto the window. So here's, again, the real-time viewer with 5 views on this screen. Again, some of the same ones we looked at. Along with you, we've got a Pareto chart for downtimes showing what's been going on for the last 12 hours. Again, you can configure a lot of this to show stuff on the current shift, the current day, a variety of different things. The real-time viewer updates automatically once a minute, showing you what's happening. If we go and create a new screen here to show you the flexibility and power of what you have, you can give it a screen name. And then this here is where your chart would go in this window. If you decide you would like to have more views like we were looking at, you can use these buttons here to split the screen appropriately to put as many different views on here as you want. You can resize if you like, so very, very flexible. Then for each window, you get to assign a view that you would like to have within each window. All right, then you can configure each view by using the buttons to select which machines you would like to have, other status information on the individual cycle statuses, or any other settings such as the time frame, the font sizes, show or hide the legends, variety of different information. And each screen has different configuration options. So a lot of different things that you can configure for. You could have the exact same view right next to each other. Over on one side, you could have, let's say, a 2-hour view. And over on the other side, you could have a 24-hour view. So right next to each other, you can see a zoomed in and zoomed out view to see what's been happening over a period of time. Again, once you can create as many screens as you like, you can put shortcuts to commonly used screens up in the ribbon bar where you can just click a button and launch a screen with that information on it. There we go. You can also create it as a slideshow. You can create as many screens as you like, then tell it to rotate through a certain amount of screens on a set interval, such as every 30 seconds or so. So the dashboard is very, very powerful to be able to show a variety of different information, used on TVs out on the shop floor as well as inside the office in the maintenance areas. All right. For charts, well, you can also have saved charts, again, the static charts, a lot of the same information, but you can create templates that memorizes certain information. Again, with one button, you can go and launch your chart with whatever settings that you had, time frames, and any other filters. So those can all be saved, again, on an individual user basis as well. All right. Jump back into the presentation here. The types of data collected. Common we talked about is, again, a lot of times spindle time versus machine time. Override levels is a very common one to track as well. So how much time were you running in, we'll just call normal cycle, the way it was expected to run. But now let's say your machine is running at 70%, so the overrides were turned down. You may want to record that amount of time separately to where you can see I was cycling, but was not cycling at 100%. So you've got a lot of, again, flexibility or capability with these different rules or different definitions of what you would like to collect. Again, fully user configurable planned and unplanned downtimes. That information could be entered through a PC barcode scanner or a tablet, Windows tablets, iPads. Here's a sample screenshot here of just an iPad interface. Again, different machines. You can, through the configuration button, you can turn off some machines and just pick certain ones, or one if you're going to mount the iPad to the machine, which is the most common. Then here's a list of downtime codes. By clicking the buttons here, you can get different lists of codes. Highlight the button, start new status. There you go. You can also enter any notes if you like, and any notes here can show up on that real-time view or in the grid view. So a very powerful method of entering data if you choose to do planned and unplanned downtimes. You can also collect information such as the active part number, good part counts, triggering emails based on events. If a machine has not been running for a certain amount of time, send an email. If it's been in a particular downtime status, you can send one. If it's been in a downtime and it's a certain shift, let's say day shift, then email a particular person. Night shift, email somebody else. So again, a lot of flexibility on the definitions for rules, not only for collecting data, but triggering other events, such as turning on stack lights or pole lights, or emails, or text messages. Well, a lot of different things that can be triggered. Right, the power of DataXchange. The ability to query multiple sources of data is definitely one of the key features. So obviously the machine is something we want to query to see what it is doing, but you can also get data from other systems, such as our database, to be able to compare the two, a barcode scanner, a PC, a tablet. So we pull data from all these different sources, and then we have logic expressions to determine the rules on whether something should take place. So it's a very simple, easy user interface. A lot of these rules are 100% predefined for you, so you just apply them and you're up and running. You have full ability to modify or create new rules if you'd like to, again, for triggering emails or your definitions of what you would like to do. So doing it this way is a very consistent user interface. It doesn't matter what type of machine, what type of technology it provides for collecting data. It's a very consistent way of maintaining the data collection rules and the rules to trigger the events, such as emails. Here's a simple screenshot of the expressions. Again, we've got a couple sources of data. Target, again, a target is our database. Target could also be email, for example. And there's a highlighted expression for a cycle start. You can see the general rule there, the expression we call it. If in the PCS database, the general equipment status is not cycling, and the focus machine, that cycle status reports it is cycling. If that becomes true, then a cycle start will be sent to the database. So it gives you an idea of the type of rules or the type of power that you have when determining what's going to take place. So these rules can be built up to say that, okay, if my overrides are all at 100%, then do this. If my feeds and speeds, if there's motion, do this. So you can get a lot of different rules in there, incorporating things such as feed hold, whether coolant is on, whether alarms are active, to give you a few examples or ideas. Assigning the expressions to machines, checkboxes. So a machine called Mazak, you hit a button called Assign Expressions, you hit the checkboxes of which ones you would like to use, and assign. There you go. I mean, that's what's involved if you would like to get up and running with a lot of the information that's built into the system. So again, then you can modify any of these expressions as you like, but getting up and running is very, very straightforward. A summary of features between the different versions. Again, bronze, silver, and gold are three different licensing levels we have. Bronze allows you to get up and running quickly. It basically, what it does is allows you to get cycle information, run, not run information from the machine. This does include all the different definitions of cycle time, so multiple definitions are all included in bronze. So, silver adds on the ability to break down your downtimes using planned and unplanned downtimes, the data entry screens, the iPads to enter that information. The ability to trigger emails all comes with silver. And gold builds upon that and adds in the ability to do some part tracking, good part numbers and things of that sort. So new features will be adding to the different versions at all times. Again, as you'll see on the next page here, you can mix and match the licensing levels. So you can have, again, any combination of them. You can move licensing levels between machines very, very simply and easily. So it's very, very flexible. There's no hardware keys you need to worry about at all. It's 100% done through software. Again, the ability to transfer just through the user interface between different machines is very, very nice and flexible. Right, low monthly fees. The way we start up is it's $45 per month per machine at the bronze level. I say it starts at $45 because with volume above 5 machines, that starts to drop and you get discounts for volume. So again, you get up to over 50 machine or a 50% discount when you get over 100-something machines is where the discount breakdown stops at is 50. So you can see you can get definitely a decent-sized discount. It's true month to month. You're going to use this system because it's a good fit for you, because it's going to, again, provide the value. You're not required in any type of long-term commitment. You know it's a good fit for you. You can pay annually and lock in the price if you like as well. So you do have different options there, but again, you're not required to commit to anything longer than 30 days. Okay, the startup costs. There's a one-time setup fee to get up and running, and this is not a per machine cost. This is a one-time for basically the account. Doesn't matter if you have one machine or 100 across multiple facilities. So if you get started up and running with bronze, your startup fee is $1,000, and then after that it's $45 a month per machine for bronze. So you can see how it ranges. It's $1,500 for silver, $2,000 for gold. Again, a one-time fee for the account, not per machine. And then the monthly cost is what is per machine. So again, you could mix and match. You could do 10 bronze and 2 silvers if you'd like. And again, then the quantity discount would apply across all of your machines. There's a pricing calculator on our website, so you can type in the number of machines, exactly at which license level, and it'll tell you exactly what your startup fee is and the monthly cost. Okay. So the types of things that we collect from. MT Connect. If you're not familiar with MT Connect, it is an Ethernet-based standard. It's supported by many machine tool builders, Mazak, Akuma, Morisiki. We do it on Siemens 840D controls. There's a lot of different machine tool builders that are starting to use MT Connect, and again, some of these common ones I mentioned have been supporting it for years now. You get a wealth of information with no hardware at all. Again, the overrides, the feeds and speeds, the alarms, that type of information can be retrieved through MT Connect with an Ethernet cable or wireless Ethernet. FANUC Focus is a similar concept. It uses Ethernet as well, again, wired or wireless. It's specific to FANUC controls, and most I-series controls will have this capability. Again, you can get a wealth of information, such as the overrides, the feeds and speeds, things like that. For equipment, whether it be CNCs, manual equipment, or anything else that doesn't have that capability, we have that hardware-based module that we talked about. Again, there's no programming required. You just wire into some specific points on the machine, and then the logic is done through those expressions in our software. So again, you don't get as much information as obviously the newer Ethernet-based machines, but it does allow you to still collect quite a bit of information and knowing what your machines are running or not running or what kind of mode that they're in. Here's an example. This is a picture of the hardware device. It's next to a mouse just to show you the size of it. It's a 3x3 inch cube. So it takes 24 volt discrete inputs into it. It can take up to 8 inputs, and then the logic in is done on the software side. If port 1 and port 2 are high, I'm cycling. If port 3 is high, it's in an E-stop. So you get the idea from that standpoint. Whatever points we wire into on the machine can then be read out of this SRC device and then applied to the expressions to collect the data. So that's what I have for you today. Again, it's a pretty high-level overview of what this system can do. There's obviously quite a bit of additional functionality. I mean, full support for shifts, automatically entering planned downtimes, quite a bit of other things that it's capable of doing.